Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Keytime Sports. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on Millions.co. We also have merchandise available in the Millions.co store. Here is t-shirts, hats, hoodies. We will be rolling out more apparel in 2026. So, we are at the end of the almost at the end of the 2025 NFL season. Week 18 is next. With everything that happened yesterday, I will give my reaction show tomorrow, but today I want to focus on week 18. Now we have two important games in week 18 that will have a big impact on the playoffs and who will make the playoffs and who will be going home. Now, I'm going to show you all the current playoff picture in the AFC and NFC, and here it is. Broncos in the AFC are number 1, Patriots 2, Jaguars 3, Bills 5, Texans 6, and Chargers 7. Number 4 for the AFC, the fourth spot is up for grabs. It can be won between the Steelers and the Ravens this coming week. And for the NFC, Seahawks are number 1, Bears are number 2, Eagles are number 3, 5 is the 49ers, 6 is the Los Angeles Rams, 7 is the Green Bay Packers, and the number 4 spot is up for grabs between the Panthers and the Buccaneers. So, everybody, and here are the teams that are eliminated, which needs no type of deep analyzation, but here are the teams who are all eliminated. So, let's get to the Week 18 schedule. The first game we got on the docket for Week 18 is the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, both of these teams, they've had alternate seasons. And when I mean by alternate, this team at Panthers, they've had win, loss all throughout the season. They can never go on a winning streak. They can never win 2 games back to back. I don't know why that is, but we've had a lot of teams do that throughout the history of the NFL. Now we get to the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers, they started out the first 7 games, they started out 6-1. Even me, I was saying that possibly the Buccaneers could go deep into the playoffs, but now can they even win this game? And as far as the play calling on the offense and defense, I'm a little bit skeptical about the Buccaneers with their offense and defense. So this is going to be a game where it's a matter of what team shows up and makes those timely plays, because in games like this you are always going to have that one critical third down that you need to make, or that fourth down play that you need to make to keep your season going and to keep yourself in the game. Now, this game, it will not be a blowout because both of these offenses, they are anemic at times. I mean, it could be one game where the Panthers, let's say the Panthers earlier on in the season, they had games where they would score 30 or 40 points, and then some games they would struggle to score 20. So you don't know what offense you are going to get from the Panthers or the Buccaneers. But if I were a betting man, which sometimes I am, I would put my money on, I would say, the Buccaneers. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers roll into Tampa and get a division win, one that they need. It would build the confidence and the charisma of that organization, because we all know in the past the Panthers football has been hard to watch over the past few years, and this would make them relevant with a win like this, a division win to take you on into the playoffs. And if the Panthers were able to make it to the playoffs, they would be facing they would be facing the 49ers and having home field advantage. So if Tampa wins, they would be facing the 49ers. And if the Panthers win, they would be facing the 49ers with home field advantage. So that is what is on the line in week 18 for both the Panthers and the Buccaneers. The next game I'm going to cover, Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, both of these teams are in the playoffs, but home field advantage for the number one seed is still up for grabs. If, and I do mean if, the 49ers win this game, they won't have to leave Santa Clara until after the Super Bowl. That is if they get to the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl is being held in Santa Clara. The Seahawks, one thing I'm still not sold on Sam Darnold yet to win these big games late in the season and in the playoffs. So that is why I'm going with the 49ers, because I just believe that the 49ers with that defense, 49ers have a top 10 defense in the NFL. They've had it all season. Plus you have Brock Purdy, who has been protecting the ball, hasn't been throwing that many interceptions. Last night, that was a wonderful game. I'm going to get into that on tomorrow's show and talk about that later. But the 49ers, they have everything that set up perfectly in front of them. They can host their own Super Bowl. They would not have to leave Santa Clara at all. Everybody would be coming to them. Either way, the Super Bowl is going to be in Santa Clara. So for all of those teams out there who wants to get to Santa Clara, you're going to have to go through the 49ers. I can already see it. And I hear a lot of people over the last 12 to 36 hours have said bang, bang, Niner gang. Well, the Niner gang is back in the playoffs, just like they have been 6 times over the last 7 years. Now, the next game I'm going to cover, a game that nobody is going to watch because it doesn't have any playoff implications. Saints versus Falcons. I'm going to go with the Falcons. Moving on. The next game, Browns versus Bengals. Another game that nobody is going to be focused on about. Browns versus Bengals. I got the Bengals. Let's go. The next game I am going to cover is the Packers and the Vikings. Vikings, they win this game. They are not going anywhere. Packers, they are already in the playoffs. I believe the Packers, they are going to rest their starters for this game because they already have the 7th spot already locked up. So Vikings in that game. The next game, another game that nobody's going to be paying attention to, Cowboys, Giants. I got the Cowboys. The next game, Titans, Jaguars. Jaguars all the way. Colts, Titans. I got the Titans. Colts, Texans. I got the Texans because the Colts season is pretty much over with. The Colts are the 6th team in NFL history to start off a season 8-2 and not make the playoffs. This is the 6th time since 1989 that has happened. And the Texans are the 5th team in NFL history to make the playoffs after starting a season 0-3. The last team to do that was the Houston Texans back in 2018. So, Houston Texans, you have experience in this, and congratulations on making the playoffs after an abysmal start to your season. The next game I'm going to cover is the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. Bills all the way in this game no matter what. Lions versus Bears. Lions not going to make the playoffs, eliminated last week. And the Bears, I said the Bears at the start of the season were going to make the playoffs. I said the Patriots were going to make the playoffs. The last team that is on the list, and I hope that the Panthers can some way, somehow win over the Buccaneers, because I would be a perfect 3 for 3 in my dark horse playoff predictions for the NFL. So that's all that I wanted to say. Bears, I got the Bears winning this game. The next game, I am going to cover the Chargers and the Broncos. Broncos, a week and a half ago, they lost to the Jaguars. They come back Christmas Day, win over their arch rival, the Kansas City Chiefs, and I believe the Broncos will win over the Chargers. Not just because they are at home, but there's another thing that I'm going to say a little bit later on in the show. I'm going to tell you all about every playoff team that is on the board Chiefs versus Raiders. Nobody really cares about this game, but I have the Chiefs winning. Cardinals, Rams. Rams are going to win that one going away. Dolphins, Patriots. Patriots are going to win that one going away. Commanders, Eagles. Eagles are going to win that one going away. And Sunday Night Football, I am happy that the NFL scheduled this game, the last game of the day, because the Ravens and the Steelers both have been on a downward spiral, or I'm not even gonna say a downward spiral, a tailspin. Now, I said a few weeks ago that the AFC North, it is going to come down to the last week of the season. The Ravens and the Steelers, winner is going to play the Bills. Winner is going to play the Bills in the first round of the playoffs. So, whoever wins this game, is going to play the Buffalo Bills. This is one of the games that, I have a tough time picking. It was just like earlier on in the show when I gave y'all my prediction for the Panthers and the Buccaneers. You got two teams that have had alternate wins, that has won a game, lost a game. They've never went on a winning streak at all this season. And then you have the Steelers. Now, can the Steelers some way, somehow win this game and make it to the playoffs and possibly win a playoff game for the first time in 9 seasons? Who knows? I'm going to take the Ravens in this game, but I would not be surprised if the Steelers won this game. I wouldn't be. So now, I've given you all my predictions for Week 18. Now let's get to the playoff bracket. And I'm going to tell you all what team has flaws, what every team as far as their deficiencies. I'm going to start off with the Broncos because, yes, the Broncos, they've had a good season, but when we go down a list of who all they won against, it's always been come from behind wins, and they've always started off slow. Now, for the Broncos, you cannot start off slow in the playoffs. You cannot get down by 10, 14 points because your opponent is going to put pressure on you. And for Bo Nix, he's been up and down throughout the entirety of this season. For the first 3 quarters of the season, Bo Nix, he was just decent. That's all I can say. He was just decent. And the fact of the matter is, the Broncos, the team that they have with Bo Nix, this is only his second year. But the coach For the Broncos, Sean Payton, he gives that team experience. Now, a head coach, I've always said, how many years has the head coach been around the league, and he can give them experience in situational football, because in the playoffs, that's what it's all about. Situational football. Can I get this first down to keep my offense on the field and to force my opponent to use all of their timeouts? That way I can go on to the next round. That's basically what it is. Well, that is one of the factors, because time of possession is a factor. Third down defense is a factor. If you're on offense, third down offense is a factor. The Broncos defense, I have no problem with the Broncos defense, because it's one of the best defenses. Well, excuse me. The Broncos are number 2 in the NFL right now. The Houston Texans are number 1. They have the number 1 defense, along with the Jaguars at 5, the 49ers at 6. You have the Buffalo Bills all the way down there at 8. So you got a lot of top 10 defenses in the playoffs this year. So nobody is going to get blown out in these playoffs. I hope nobody is going to get blown out. So we get to the Patriots. Now, the Patriots and Bears, they are the same. I can say this. Patriots and Bears are the same, because the Patriots and Bears schedule, it's a little iffy. It is, because you haven't really beat anybody of any sort of relevance, any team that holds weight. And when it comes to the Bears, I would say outside of divisional games, beating the Packers, who else have you beaten that gives us a cause for pause? Because we already know what the Bears can do against the Packers. But do we know what the Bears can do against the Eagles? Do we know what the Bears can do against the 49ers? We saw what the Bears did against the 49ers. They came up short versus the 49ers last night. What can the Bears do versus the Rams? We don't know, because they haven't played each other at all this season. So maybe, just maybe, the Bears and the Rams will face each other. But as it clearly states, it's like, if it goes that way, 2 versus 7, the Bears and Packers, they will be playing each other. If the playoffs were to start today, Packers would be going to Chicago. And we already know the last time the Packers were in Chicago, the Bears won. So Patriots and Bears, they are on the same trajectory. Let me get to the Jaguars and the Eagles. Both teams had early season struggles. Both teams, well, the Jaguars, they got blown out way early in the season, but ever since then they went on a 7-game winning streak, and the Eagles have went on a little winning streak of their own. Now, could this be the Super Bowl? Yes, it has a good chance of being the Super Bowl, because you have the defending champion Eagles already making their way back to the playoffs. You have the Jaguars. Now, one thing I can say about the Jaguars is Trevor Lawrence. This is what we've been wanting to see over the past 3 years from him. Being able to take over a game no matter what. You get your running game is bad. Trevor, he taking off and running for 15, 20 yards now. Also, Trevor Lawrence, he's throwing the ball in tight windows, and his wide receivers are catching him. He's putting the ball in a place where only his receivers can catch it. And he wasn't doing that last year or the year before last. Now, he's made significant improvement. And I think that I'm going to have to get rid of the title interception throwing machine. Now, he did throw an interception yesterday, but it wasn't the determined outcome. It didn't have any determining factor on the outcome. since he threw it so early in the game. So, one thing that the Jaguars can do is win their final game versus the Titans and hold out hope that the Broncos lose their game, the Patriots lose their game, and if that all falls into place, the Jaguars will become the top seed in the AFC and will have home field advantage throughout the AFC part of the playoffs. So that is the scenario for coming into week 18. The scenario coming into week 18. Now, the Eagles, we already know that the Eagles are going to be there, and their first round playoff matchup is already here. You have the Eagles and the Rams. Now, this is going to be a rematch of the week 3 contest between these two teams and the NFC divisional round from last season. So the Rams offense is great. The Eagles offense sometimes is stagnant, but I believe that this is going to be a close matchup. This is going to be a close matchup no matter what. So let me get down to the 4 teams. The teams that would, if they do win, if the Steelers win, they will be number 4 seed in the AFC. And if the Panthers win, they will be the number 4. Also, the Ravens and Buccaneers, if they win, they will become number 4. All of these teams that are still in the hunt, these 4 teams, the Steelers, Panthers, Ravens, and Buccaneers, they've all had consistency trouble this season. And both of these games, they have the potential of having snafus with them. Now, for anybody who doesn't know the meaning of the word snafu, it means having a chaotic or unexplainable situation. And that's what both of these games are going to come out to. You are going to have unexplainable situations. That is why next Monday morning, when we come in here and we try to dissect all of the week 18 games, I believe that we are going to have some type of problem trying to explain what happened with these 2 games. Because we all know that all of these offenses that are right here, Steelers, Panthers, Ravens, and Buccaneers, they all are putrid. So this is pretty much where playoff scenarios are at its highest in week 18. So now let me get back to the playoff bracket. We got the Bills. The Bills, they've been up and down all season. They are 11-5 after yesterday's loss to the Eagles. I don't know why the Buffalo Bills went for 2. I did not agree with that. Since it was so late in the 4th quarter, I would have went for the extra point and took my chances in overtime. And then here is the 49ers, for example. 49ers, they are an old hat at this. This is the 7th time in the last, I'm going to say, 9 years that they've made it to the playoffs. So now we get to a point where the 49ers, they have a yellow brick road towards the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl is being held in their stadium. They would not have to travel. The players would be able to sleep in their own beds. Now we have seen this before, but we have never seen a top seed in the NFL be able to host their own Super Bowl. Now the Rams, they were able to host their own Super Bowl, and the Buccaneers, but they were not top seeds in their respective conference at that time. Now we get to the 2 number 6 teams on this list, the Texans and the Rams. The Rams, they have a good offense. The Texans, they hang their head on defense, one of the best defenses in the NFL, the best defense. Now, the Texans, I said earlier in the show, Texans are the 16 to be able to make it to the playoffs after starting 0-3. The Rams, they really haven't had any problems this season when it comes to their offense or defense. It's just that the teams that they've lost against, their opponents have just caught the Rams on a bad day. That's all. So I have no trepidation with the Texans or the Rams when it comes to their offense or defense, because I know the Texans defense is going to keep the game close, and the Rams offense is one of the best in the NFL. Now we get to the last two teams that are on the playoff bracket, the Chargers and the Packers. Packers, early season success. They started off 3-0, 3-0, and everybody was saying that they could have the possibility of hosting the NFC Championship game. I said that too. The Chargers, they started off early success. They beat the Chiefs the first week, and that's when everybody just was just stopped in their tracks. For the Chargers to beat the Chiefs earlier on in the season, that pretty much said how the season was going to be for the Chargers. Now, like I've always said throughout the season, in the second year of a Jim Harbaugh head coaching regime, he has always put his teams have always gotten further. Now, the Chargers, they made it to the wild card last season. Let's see if they can win the wild card game and possibly go to the AFC divisional round. See, it always happens like that. It happened when Jim Harbaugh was with the 49ers. First season, get all the way to a wild card. Then you go out, Jim Harbaugh's first season with the 49ers got all the way to the NFC Championship game and lost. So this is the point where we get to with the Chargers. Can the Chargers make it to an AFC Championship game? Now, last time Chargers made it to an AFC Championship game was 2007. They played against the Patriots. We all know how long ago 2007 was. We almost coming up on 19 years, almost 20 when it come to 2007. So the Chargers, it's been a while since they've been on that type of stage. And for the Packers, Jordan Love is injured. Let's see if Jordan Love is going to be able to come back for the playoffs. So that is your playoff bracket for week 18 heading into the playoffs. We have two critical games that are on the schedule that start week 18 and end week 18. The Panthers and the Buccaneers start week 18 on Saturday, and the Steelers and Ravens in week 18, the last game of the regular season. Wow, we are already at the end of the regular season. Just a few weeks ago, it felt like we were in week 4. And now we are all the way at the end of the regular season. So, one thing I want to say, please, and with that, those are my predictions for week 18 and my outlook on all of the teams that are making the playoffs. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on Millions.co. We also have merchandise, live merchandise on Millions.co. We are rolling out more and more merchandise for 2026. Here is my profile so that you know it is me. Here is my media feed for everybody who would like to look at my clips when it comes to certain certain stories and segments that I do. And remember, everybody, one last thing: the key is always on time.